Welcome to the first ever live stream from this channel. And I don't mind telling you that I was somewhat nervous about doing my first live streaming. I've been playing with the idea for months and months and months and doing tests for a few weeks. It's actually quite a lot more difficult than I thought it was. I got all kinds of systems and software and overly complicated it. So I'm actually doing this live stream directly from my iPhone, which just seemed to be the easiest way to do it. Actually, I've got my lighting wrong. Just give me 1 second. And I have to say that this is actually a test. This is a test live stream to tell you a little bit about what the eventual live stream series will be about. But by doing this test, it allows me just to make sure that anybody's even listening to this at all. Oh, and I see already that somebody is. I see Abigail Lundari, hello, and Jorm and Sean. Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, it's a bit weird because I've got my computer down here and I've got my iPhone up there, and I see your comments first on my iPhone and then afterwards on the computer. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've got it working now. I'm going to order some better equipment for future live streams because I want this to be a regular series called Breaking into Yacht Brokerage. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you'll know that I used to do a webinar called Breaking into Brokerage, and it was totally off of the YouTube platform using something called Webinar Jam. I think I charged $99, and it was a real in-depth webinar where people could ask questions about brokerage, how they could get into brokerage. I had a proper set course, and the webinar was great, but it had certain logistical challenges, one of which was I never knew where I'd be, and people had paid $99 to be there for the webinar. And then sometimes I'd find myself, for example, in Turkey, where the hotel didn't have such a great internet connection. Not to say, by the way, that Turkey doesn't have good internet connection. It does. I just was unfortunate to be in a hotel that didn't have a great connection. And so I had to give everybody their money back on the webinar, and it put me off doing it anymore. Then in a recent video, I think it was the vlog in which I talk about the Sunseeker 100, I suggested that I may start a Patreon account, allowing people to have exclusive content about how to become a yacht broker, but by paying into the Patreon account. I didn't feel super happy with that suggestion or that idea, so I put it out to my viewers, and in fact some thought it was okay, some were very opposed to Patreon, and that put me off. So I thought what I'll do is I'll do a live stream series every Friday evening at 6 o'clock. I know it's not Friday and I know it's not 6 o'clock, but this is to announce that Friday of this week is when I'll kick off with the Breaking into Brokerage live stream series. It'll be 6 o'clock Italian time, so that's GMT +2. We'll see how it goes. I'm particularly pleased to see loads and loads and loads of comments coming in. So let me just quickly say thank you to the ones that I can see. Abigail Lundari, John Vershaw, Sean Jackson, James Stratton, Robert Fleming, Morris Marchand, Tim Barrett, Greg Shamp. Sean Jackson says, looks and sounds good. Thanks. I do actually need that kind of feedback because I've never done this before. Jorn Vershaw says, can I get a yacht for 100 Bitcoins? LOL. Okay, maybe 20 years from now. Wow, there's so many coming in. I can't keep up with everybody. But you know what? I just want to pick up on that question from Jorn, and I hope that I'm pronouncing your name right. Jorn or Jorn, I'm guessing Jorn. The question about Bitcoins is quite an interesting one. And as a yacht broker, one of the things that occupies a lot of my day is I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails every day, all yacht brokers do, advertising everything that's for sale from other yacht brokers, just in case I have the buyer and they have the seller. And from time to time, there will be one that says owner will accept Bitcoins. I've even had offers of Bitcoins for yachts, and it's not out of the question. It's not something I've ever done. It's not something I'd feel comfortable going into because I don't know a lot about Bitcoin. But you know, your question is not a daft question. It's a good question, and I don't know what 100 Bitcoins are worth. Maybe not enough to buy a yacht, but But certainly the concept of buying Bitcoins for a yacht is entirely achievable. Just very quickly, thanks some other people for tuning in. Christopher Hodson is obviously British. He says Friday 6 o'clock is Crackerjack. I think that was Friday 5 o'clock was Crackerjack. He must be a similar age to me. From those of you who are not from the UK, Crackerjack was a fantastic kids program. I guess 40 years ago or more, and they'd say it's Friday, it's 5 o'clock, and it's Crackerjack. So thanks for that reminder, Christopher. If any of you got any, Ricky Petrolati says, hello, sir. Ricky is one of my dynamic duo of videographers. Just to give you some background, back when I started the YouTube channel, I used different videographers at different times, and they were all great, to be honest. They were all great. There was maybe a couple of occasions, and I won't tell you what the videos were, where I made a bad choice of videographer. But Ricky and his partner Davide make up a company called Movie. They are amongst the best videographers that I've ever worked with. But not only that, they also have the same passion for yachting and the same passion for YouTube. And they live very close to my house in Italy. So they're able to come here and film my vlogs from behind my desk. They travel with me a lot all over the place. And it's turned out to be a really, really good partnership that we have going together. And I always intend to introduce Ricky and David a bit more into the videos. So in future walkthrough videos, hopefully you'll be seeing a bit more of them. So Ricky, thanks for all your great work. Gabrielle tells me that Bitcoin is 7,000 USD. So 100 Bitcoin is 700,000. That's correct. If it's 7,000 is one Bitcoin, 100 is 700,000. Yeah, you could buy a yacht for that, for $700,000. I'm sure you could. Kevin says, hey man, Kev from UK here. Been watching you for a while, dude. One of my dreams is to get a yacht one day, just dreaming for now. Kevin, can I tell you that that's a great comment, because when I first started the YouTube channel, my big intention was to sell yachts from the videos, and it's worked to a degree. It's worked. What I didn't anticipate is that it's created a community of people who do dream of owning a yacht. And I think it's kind of cool that I can produce something that keeps that dream alive for people. And I get lots of comments from people who enjoy the video just because it's exciting and they're working towards one day getting a yacht. And I know exactly what that's like. There's certain cars that I would love to own, and when I need a bit of inspiration, I'll go on Auto Trader or whatever, and I'll see how much they are, and I'll try to spec them and imagine what I'd like. And yachts, of course, are a very aspirational item. Looking back down. Second star to the right. What a very cool name. You can tokenize a yacht through a company called Securitize, just like a digital asset. Don't know what that means, but it sounds very interesting. I shall probably Google tokenizing a yacht afterwards. Annalisa 360. Better dollar for buy sell yachts, don't you? Not sure what you mean by that. If you mean it's better to use dollars, I would have to agree with you, Annalisa. Personally, I don't know enough about Bitcoin to really feel confident representing a client who wants to either buy or sell using it. I have a feeling that the legal fees on the purchase would be very, very high. My gut feeling, because you'd probably need to factor that in somehow to the contract. Yeah, Bitcoin's a real, do you know, it might make an interesting video, actually, an interesting vlog, buying a yacht with Bitcoins. There's a thought. I need to do some research on it. Scrolling down, did you ever sell she? Scott Lacey asks. The answer's no, and I no longer have the exclusivity on that yacht either. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely, lovely boat, beautifully well looked after, great model. I loved doing the video. We took a lot of offers to the owner. We had a lot of negotiations, we weren't able to get the offers up to a price that the seller would accept. And that's a big challenge when you're a yacht broker, because it's easy for a seller to assume that you're encouraging him to sell the yacht for a price that he thinks is too low, just so that you can make a commission. And on the other hand, as a yacht broker, I know what yachts are really selling for. And so sometimes when an offer is suitably high, I really do push the seller to sell and to accept it. And so when they don't accept my advice, sometimes it's better just to part company. Having said that, I can't speak highly enough about Shushi. It's an absolutely wonderful yacht. I'm still in regular contact with the yacht manager. I know they're spending a lot of money on it. They're putting zero-speed stabilizers on it. So if anybody's in the market for an Azimuth 103S, that's certainly a boat to look for. And don't be put off by the fact that I say that the owner at the time was not willing to accept some of the offers. He may be now. Things change, circumstances change. But no, we didn't sell it, and I no longer have the central agency for that yacht. Looking down, Cameron Scott, would you ever consider showing off yachts that could be owner operated by, say, a couple? My wife and I are thinking about moving away from the UK down to the Med. We both work from home. Yes, I would definitely consider that. It's not my bread and butter, to be honest. And, there are yacht brokers who sell yachts that are much larger than the ones that I sell. And there are yacht brokers who sell yachts much smaller than the ones that I sell. My sort of sweet spot is between, let's say, 80 to 160, 170 feet. An owner operator, I think you'd need to be looking at 50 or 60 feet to operate as a couple. Actually, I was one of the most inspirational couples I've met in recent years. You may remember I did a video of the RMK shipyard. In fact, I think I did a series of 3 videos in Turkey of RMK, who have a 58 meter, I think it is, Explorer yacht in construction, but they also do a lot of refit work. And while I was there, I met a British couple who were they'd retired early. They looked like they were probably in their 40s. And they'd bought quite an old classic yacht. I think it was probably 70 or 80 foot long. And they were touring the world, and they just stopped off at RMK to get some work done to the yacht. They were having a whale of a time. I hope for you, Cameron, that you're able to fulfill that dream, because it's an incredible way of life. I mean, you have to be able to get on very well with your wife, of course. I'm assuming that you do, because you're in a confined space. But what a fantastic thing to do. I wish you every success with that, and I shall certainly keep it in mind to do a vlog or a video on that subject. Finian Fitzsimmons says that he loves watching and dreaming about buying a yacht. Perini Navi Voyager 56 meter, please. I have great contacts with Perini Navi. The CEO of Perini Navi used to be my boss when I worked at CRN. He was there for a long time, Lamberto Taccoli. And I know that the guys from Perini follow my YouTube channel. They may even be on this live stream now. So yeah, I'll make sure I get back in touch with them, and we'll do more information on Perini. Bear with me, because I'm totally new to this this live streaming, and I'm trying to pick out the questions. Calvin H says most people don't know that a dude is an infected hair on an elephant's butt, but it's true. Thank you. I doubt that it will stop me using that expression. I've got 3 kids, and the 2 lads, I call them dude all the time. And I'll call them that even more now I know that. Second star to the right says that tokenizing into a digital asset is breaking it up into individual tokens like shares, then sell the tokens while keeping a majority share. That's interesting. Thank you for that. I need to do, Gabriel Soanos tells me that I should do more research on crypto. There are many more than Bitcoins. Yeah, I do know that. But you're right, I should probably research it more. I mean, to be honest with you, Gabriel, I just find that there's so much to do with building the YouTube channel and trying to start the new live stream, and it took me far too many hours to actually figure out how to do a live stream effectively. Um, on top of that, I've got a negotiation on a yacht that we're close to getting sold at the moment. So, and there's only so many hours in the day, and I need to spend some time with my kids as well. But yeah, I should definitely try to find time for research, maybe by watching a YouTube video on the subject. Robert Fleming, if I was to buy a second-hand yacht, is it costly to swap engines over to make it more eco? Yes, it is. It is. I mean, engines in themselves are tremendously expensive. Certain models you can be looking at €500,000 per engine. However, people do change engines from time to time. Sometimes they have to. Sometimes they just want to for sort of preventive maintenance. To make it more eco-friendly, there's a company, and I'm trying to remember, the Diesel Center own a company that has a retrofit option for hybrid. I was supposed to do a video about it last year, and it just never quite materialized, unfortunately. And actually, the guy who was involved with that project went from that company to become the CEO of Sunseeker. So I'm still in contact with him, and he's an absolute guru for knowing how to make yachts more eco-friendly and hybrid systems. So I don't have any inside information, but I suspect that we'll be seeing more hybrid options from Sunseeker in the future. Miracook, hi David, are you going to make a video about Vantage? I presume you're talking about the Palmer Johnson. It's unlikely because it's not my central agency yacht. And the big walkthrough videos that I do, which are a considerable investment of time and money, I reserve really for the yachts that I've got for sale. That's how it works. Unless a sponsor comes along. If Palmer Johnson were to come along and talk to the owner of Vantage and say, would you let David do a walkthrough video? Of course, I'd love to. It's a lovely yacht. We have a VIP guest in the room, Super Yacht Captain. Tristan says, hello, everyone. Hey, David. Thanks for dropping in, Tristan. Tristan actually helped me a lot with this live stream because I'm totally useless on technology. And I was talking to him about some problems that I had with the technical part of live stream. So thanks for that, Tristan. If anybody's got a question for him, just send it on over and we can get his answer. Who Cared says, so are you able to work online during this pandemic, or is it fully postponed till quarantine is over? I've been really fortunate because this office is in my house in Italy. And so I've been able to go to the office every day. And I had 2 negotiations on yachts underway when the lockdown started. One of them was immediately put on hold for obvious reasons, but the other one has continued and we're still working on that. But also, as you know, I get a lot of sponsorship for my YouTube channel, and I've been working on some videos for Benetti today, writing storyboards for them. I've actually, funnily enough, as I look at my iPhone, I can see WhatsApp messages come, and I just had a WhatsApp message from one of the guys from Ferretti Group, sort of confirming that we have some sponsored videos to do with them as well, plus some vlogs. So you'll be seeing a lot more information about Ferretti Group. So it's really busy. I've been working as much during the pandemic as I was before. The only thing is, it's as I'm sure all of you are having this experience too, it's harder work because it's kind of nice to one day be getting on an aeroplane going somewhere, another day do a walkthrough video of a yacht, and then maybe 2 or 3 days in my office writing storyboards, handling emails. But now it's been for me since March the 9th, and today's April the 22nd, so it's starting to get quite heavy. Second star to the right, talks are going to go. Bitcoin Super Yacht Captain says, how's everyone doing? I'm doing well, thanks. Hope everybody else is as well. Finian Fitzsimons, have you ever gotten back in contact with Delta about doing a walkthrough Carbon 88? Finian, one of the things with my live stream is I can be very transparent and open and tell you when I was first in contact with Delta. I did a vlog about them, and it did very well, and it had a lot of really good response to it. And around about that time, I was thinking of looking for sponsorship for walkthrough videos. And because Delta were very interested, I started talking to them, and I threw out a price that was so ridiculously high that they've never spoken to me again since then. I'm sure that they'll be fine now. And also for me, it was a big learning curve. It made me realize that, okay, my YouTube channel's good, but it's not that good. It's not good enough to ask that kind of high price. I then brought down the prices for sponsorship, and that's been far more successful. And now I have plenty of sponsors. Second star to the right. I saw you and then I lost you because the sort of chain of questions suddenly went down. But yeah, I think they're asking whether Octopus is still for sale. It is. It's still for sale. Scrolling down. Bartolome Garcia, how do you decide what length your yacht is going to be? How do you end up with a 70 meter or 110 meter or 95 meter yacht? Do you know, in my experience with really large yachts, and it's limited, I have some experience of this kind of yachts, but not as much as some other brokers. But what my experience has been is that the whole thing starts with the tender. Very often people want a yacht that can contain, let's say, for example, a Riva Rivali tender or an Aqua Riva tender, or they absolutely want a helicopter pad, or they absolutely want a swimming pool of a certain size. And those things tend to dictate how big the final yacht becomes, or whether the client has to compromise and have a smaller tender or a smaller swimming pool or not have a helicopter landing pad. But the conversation tends to start with the toys that people want to have on board. And then based on that, the yacht kind of gets built around those. That seems to be the general way that it works from what my experience has been. I'm sure there are also yachts that just want to have a bigger yacht. There are also clients who just want to have a bigger yacht than their business partner or whatever, and that's a different mentality. Juan Rivera says, what do you think about Pearl yachts? Will you recommend it? They have 5-year warranty. I did a vlog about UK builders that included Pearl. And I've been on board their, I think it's a Pearl 100. It's certainly their largest yacht. A few times at boat shows, and I was very impressed. I mean, it's a lovely yacht. They're in a very, very tough sector of the market. Very, very tough, because they're competing against the likes of Ferretti and Azimuth and San Lorenzo, or maybe not so much San Lorenzo because they're going for bigger boats now, but Sunseeker, Fairline, Princess. It's a very crowded part of the market. I had asked the managing director of Pearl if I could pass by and say hi to him last time I was in the UK. He wasn't particularly receptive to that. So I'm doubtful that this channel will have a lot of dealings with them unless there's a big demand from my viewers for more information, in which case, of course, or if I have a client who wants to buy one, then of course I'll dig deeper. Dimitrios Siganis. Good evening, David. Do you know if there are any yacht building companies in Greece? Yes, there are. There are quite a few shipyards, but I've only heard of Golden Yachts. Well, I was going to say there is, and it's called Golden Yachts. I'm not aware of other builders in Greece, but you're right. There's a lot of refit yards. What's the smallest yacht you've ever brokered? That's an easy one, because we have our office in Fort Lauderdale has a super important charter client who charters very, very large yachts every year. And they wanted to, during their charter, they wanted to give a birthday present to one of the relatives who lives in Sicily. And because it was such an important client, I flew to Sicily to check out a builder there that builds, I think it was a 20-foot boat, and I feel terrible that I don't remember the name of the builder, because they were the most lovely people, passionate about what they did. I feel awful. I can't remember the name. The name of the family was the same as the name of the builder. Uh, but yeah, it was about 20 foot. It was a very, very little boat indeed. And I don't even want to say I brokered it, because basically they said, go and buy us this because we want to give it as a birthday present. And yeah, so that was the smallest boat I've ever sold. Jean-Pierre, is it possible to work with Company Yacht with a Project Yacht? For example, you design a yacht. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And that is, without a doubt, the best way to go about buying a yacht if money's no option, if money's no obstacle, and you have all the time to do it. I would absolutely sit down with the designer and design the yacht the way that I want it, and then go to tender to various yacht builders to see who I want to actually follow through on the project. Thanks, Yuha Natar. Love your videos and yachts. Keep up the good work. Thank you. And by the way, I've got to say, little comments like that are really encouraging. I get them from time to time, and it's absolutely lovely to hear that. Robert Fleming says he's got his tickets for AWOL. Well done, Robert. That's absolutely great. As many of you know, Super Yacht Captain has got a raffle going on for a charter on his yacht, which is San Lorenzo 120. Is it 120 or 122? Anyway, more or less 120 foot San Lorenzo. You should really check out Super Yacht Captain's channel if you haven't already, because it's about yachting from a different angle. It's yachting from the perspective of somebody who works as a captain on board. And a lot of the information there is really, really fascinating stuff. Me and Tristan, who's Super Yacht Captain, we've had this conversation before, that you'll launch a video on YouTube and you never know how well it will go. Ones which I sometimes think are going to go viral go absolutely nowhere, and ones which I think won't do so well sometimes do extremely well. For example, recently I had a vlog about Sea Eagle 2, the big Royal Houseman, and I wasn't totally happy with the way that vlog came together. I almost didn't publish it. Then I did, and it got over 300,000 views in a month, which is amazing. And the reason I mention this in connection with Super Yacht Captain is because Super Yacht Captain has a video about how to refuel a yacht. And when I saw he'd done that, I thought, what is he thinking of? Who's going to want to watch a video about how to refuel a yacht? It was, and I think it probably still is, one of his most watched videos. And I'd encourage you to look at it because it's just hypnotic. You just, from the moment you start watching, you can't stop. Scrolling down, Daniel Duarte Javot. Good a day. You must be Italian. Good a day. It sounds probably French or French Canadian. I'm a real estate developer and I'm getting my yacht salesperson license. Do you have any recommendation for who is starting from zero? Daniel, tune in on Friday at 6 o'clock. That's when I'm starting the Breaking into Brokerage live streaming course. If you can't tune in at that time, it's no problem because as you probably know, all of these videos are recorded and remain online. And we're going to be talking about all of that in quite some detail. And this is a good moment for me to mention that the course is just about that. It's about breaking in to an industry. And sometimes to break into yacht brokerage, you have to first break into the yachting industry. We'll be talking about that in quite some detail. It's a difficult industry to get into. And half of the problem is actually that of just getting your foot in the door. So the first part of that live streaming course will be all about just how to get your foot in the door. I've just had a super chat. Thank you so much, David Dillon. That's my first ever super chat. Thank you. And David Dillon says, hey David, love your videos as well as Super Yacht Captain. Would love to see more collabs with you too. Yeah, there will be more collaborations, David. And thanks again for the super chat. Between us, we have a WhatsApp group with Super Yacht Captain, E. Sisman, myself, Bob Dennison from Dennison Yachting, who's really a competitor of mine, a big competitor. but tremendously great guy, great fun, incredible sense of humor. And so yeah, he's on the WhatsApp group too. Oh, of course, we have Aquaholic as well. I can't not mention him. And what we're trying to do is more collaborations, but collaborations that make sense. Collaborations where we all bring something to the party. So we're having constant conversations about that. And I guarantee you'll be seeing far, far more stuff between us, especially once the lockdown is lifted. Robert Fleming, I have a feeling I'm way behind in all these questions, but I'll work my way through them. In general, how long does it take to buy a yacht, going through all the checks, etc., and what's the longest time it took you with a client? Yeah, it varies. I recently sold my Su2, which was a Ferretti 960, and that was the smoothest deal I've ever done, thanks in large part to a very, very nice and reasonable owner, seller of the yacht, who's a really lovely guy and a really good client. A fantastic lawyer, James Jaffa, who's a marine lawyer, was brilliant. The buyer's broker from Eka Yachts, a guy called Dimitris Kyriazakos, was absolutely fantastic, as was his legal team. And so getting back to your question, I think we got everything wrapped up from the moment the offer was accepted to the handover was probably about 6 or 7 weeks. That's a nice, smooth deal. I've heard of yachts being sold in 48 hours. That's really quite exceptional. The longest it's ever taken me was without a doubt on a new build project, which took 7 months. And there, a lot of the problem was we had a truly awful lawyer who I will never work with again, and who was just milking the situation for everything that he possibly could. Can't possibly say his name online, but he knows who he is, and he also knows I've never worked with him since. Oh, there's another, is there? Yes, it's coming up. Just, again, bear with me, I'm new to this. Another super chat, Richard Getz. Richard, first of all, thanks for being such a regular viewer and contributor and your comments. I recognize your name, I recognize your face. It's absolutely fantastic, and thanks for the super chats too. This is one of the cool things with live streaming, isn't it? That it gets a bit of a better connection between us. Hey David, what's the status on Wider? And you missed Super Yacht Captain's super chat. Super Yacht Captain, I'm sorry, I do apologise. I'll try and figure out how to. I'll try and figure out how to find that. Bear with me. The status on Wider, Richard, is the shipyard now has new ownership. It's being run by a guy called Marcello Maggi. He's the new CEO of the company. They have new projects. They have a totally new propulsion system that I'm preparing a video on, which I hope in the next 2 weeks will be published. They're still alive and kicking. I have to be careful how much I say, because when I met with them at Monaco, they told me some things which may be confidential, and this wouldn't be the right platform to make announcements to you before they have made their own announcements. But yeah, let's suffice to say they've got some really exciting projects. They've got a good team. Most of the management from the previous ownership is still there, and most of the workers are still there. They've got a very, very nice production facility, and you'll be hearing a lot more about Wider from me, because we just have a great relationship. I believe in what they're doing. I love the people. So yeah, you'll be hearing plenty of them. And thanks again very much for being a regular viewer. I've got to scroll back down to where we were. David Dillon, what is the biggest yacht that you've ever sold or bought? I have a feeling that I'm going to be asked that a lot in the future. And the largest yacht I was ever involved with was so big, it became involved with a non-disclosure agreement. So I'm never allowed to talk about it. But it was big. At the time, it was listed in Boat International as one of the largest yachts in the world. It's a tremendously exciting project. But Regrettably, I can't name what the yacht was. I can tell you it was just under 3,000 gross tons, which is a pretty big yacht and massively valuable experience for me. Graham Brown, why would a new owner, February 2020, put a yacht on the market in April 2020? Could this be down to COVID? Yeah, that kind of thing happens more often than you may think, and there can be so many reasons for it. It could be that his business has tanked as a result of COVID. It could be that he's just very cautious about what the future holds because of COVID, and so he thought best to just sell stuff that I don't really need. And let's face it, a yacht is a very frivolous asset. It is just a toy. So when you start to need to get rid of things which aren't necessary, the yacht is going to be one of the things to go. However, it can also be that he's seen a bigger model that he prefers. Sometimes, and this has happened to me very often when I was working for the Ferretti Group, we'd have a client building, let's say, a custom line 94-foot yacht, and we'd get towards the time which was ready for delivery of the yacht, and he'd say, you know what, I wish I'd have bought the 112. And we'd say, well, actually, we have one in stock. So they'd flip it, they'd take the 112 and they'd put the 94 up on the market. That kind of thing happens all the time. So when you see somebody that has put their yacht on the market very soon after they've taken delivery, it's not always a bad sign that they're in a financially destitute position or in some sort of distress. Sometimes it's quite the opposite, and simply that they wanted to get something bigger and they got the opportunity, and so they've moved on, kind of thing. Kevin Talbot, Nameless is my favourite affordable yacht. Have you seen that one? I have. It was built by Mondo Marine, and I pitched for the central agency on it, but never got it, unfortunately. Morris Marchand, what would be very interesting is new technology coming out on future yachts. I do agree in regards to greener and efficiency. That's something I'm sure I'll be talking about a lot in future videos, because every single yacht builder that I talk about is very aware of the need to be greener. There will never be a green motor yacht. There will never be an eco-friendly motor yacht. I get so many comments about that on my YouTube channel, and of course the commenters are always absolutely right. However, that shouldn't stop the industry from trying to be more environmentally friendly and try to reduce their impact on the environment. And so I praise yacht builders for their efforts in doing that, and I suspect that in the next year or two we'll be seeing some big developments. Amulakates, I can't pronounce this. Amulakets 88. Which yacht can we see on that poster behind you? That I was visiting the Nuvolari Leonard shipyard yacht designer, which is close to Venice, years and years and years ago, and they very kindly gave me the general arrangements of one of their yachts, which actually, in that format, was never quite built that way. So it's just a very nice. There's no real story behind that. It's just a nice big yacht poster. Calvin says, Super Yacht Captain gave you your first super chat of €10 about 20 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure. I mean, basically, you get a green thing saying super chat at the top, and I need to work out how that functions, because when we actually start the Breaking into Brokerage course, I will be encouraging people to ask questions specifically about brokerage, and of course, super chats will prioritize their questions, so it would be kind of helpful if I was a bit more on the ball. I think the only person I've missed so far is Super Yacht Captain, which is okay because I can buy him several beers when I see him next time. If I have missed anybody else out, please do let me know in the comments so that I can make sure I at least answer their question. But I think I've only missed Super Yacht Captain so far, so sorry about that, Tristan. Many beers on me next time that we see each other, which, by the way, could be quite a while, but may possibly be the Monaco Yacht Show. I was looking today, and it looks like it's still on for the time being. We'll see. LM Cognitio. Hello, David. Do you have a yacht? No, I don't. There's a misconception that all yacht brokers are very, very wealthy. We're not. We're not at all. I have a pretty normal, I mean, I don't have a normal life at all because I travel a lot and I go to a lot of very glamorous places. One of the things we'll talk about in the brokerage course is that being a yacht broker is an absolute roller coaster. You can sell a large yacht and you can make a lot of money from that large yacht. However, then you can go long periods without selling anything, and it's an expensive game to be in. And this is something we'll talk about a lot in the course because I want people, if they really want to get into yacht brokerage, I want them to go into it with their eyes open. And well, let me just answer that point, expand on that point. You imagine that you're in a business where you get a telephone call and somebody says, I want to see this yacht that's for sale. It's in Fort Lauderdale. Now, for me, a trip to Fort Lauderdale is thousands and thousands of dollars. But if a qualified client says they want me to be there, then I need to be there and I will fly and I'll spend those thousands of dollars. And of course, it's not just the flight or the hotel. You're eating out. Sometimes you're eating out with the client, and it's just not polite always to let the client pay. Sometimes you need to pay. It's an expensive business. Sometimes the client can just call you the day before and say, I'm so sorry, I'm in Hong Kong and I've got no way of getting back there. That happens. Boat shows are expensive. It's a very, very high risk, high reward business. And as a result, although I've done okay in it, I've done quite well in it. I've had my moments where I've done very well, moments of feeling really quite desperate, but no, I certainly don't have a yacht. I'm not in those. I'm not in that league. Second star to the right, yachts aside, do you know anything about commercial vessels? And do you know what happened to, I don't know how that happens, I've just lost your question, to Nautilus? I don't really know much about commercial vessels. Very, very occasionally people ask me if I can find them a cruise liner or a ship. It's not what I do. I don't know enough about it. And I try to stay in my lane and stick to what I do know. Oh, sorry, now I can see your question again. Nautilus minerals process. No, I don't know that, I'm afraid. DV 100,000. Hi, David. If you could morph 3 popular yachts together with their special features, what would be your perfect yacht and would you design it? It would take me too long to think about that to be able to answer it, to be perfectly honest. It's a good question and it's one I'll think about. So if you're in a future live stream, feel free to ask me again when I've had time to think about it and I can give you a quick answer. Finian Fitzsimmons asks if there's a yacht that I dream about owning. And yes, actually, it comes back to, do I own a yacht? No, I don't. Do I ever think I'll have the money to own a super yacht? No, I don't. And that's partly because some of my personal values in life involve having enough money to enjoy a good standard of life, but not that much money. And unless I come up with some amazing invention that I can patent, I'm highly unlikely to get that much money. So the yacht I dream of owning, actually, I'd love an Intrepid 375. I just love it. I'd love a house in Miami or Fort Lauderdale as a holiday home, with an Intrepid 375 outside that I could go down to the Keys, I could go to the Bahamas, I could just kick back. I think Intrepid build lovely boats, not taking anything away from any other manufacturer. It's just that particular one for a long, long time has caught my attention. Amanda Ashton says, watched 6 Underground on Netflix. Yes, what a great film. Watched 6 Underground on Netflix last night, featuring amazing footage filed on Shahid Khan's Kismet. Great guy to allow that. I agree. I couldn't believe it when I watched the film, that they were able to use that yacht. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but if you've not seen 6 Underground on Netflix, you should watch it. Svetlin Karazov, to me, the biggest challenge is targeting clients. Do you have any advice on that? Yes, I do. And rather than wait till the course, I'll give away a little snippet now. that one of the essential things in yacht brokerage, and something I wish I'd have done better over the years, is staying in contact with clients. From day one as a yacht broker, make your little black book of clients your absolute Bible, for want of a better word. Develop it, cultivate it, never forget it. Be friendly with the clients. Don't always contact them because you've got something to sell them. Contact them when it's their birthday, say. And I'm telling you now, stuff that I don't do, by the way. I want to be clear on that. I could have been a far more successful broker had I have followed my own advice over the years. And now when I look at some brokers who are remarkably successful, that's something they have in common. As far as getting in contact with your first client, that is something that will develop a lot in the live stream course of Breaking into Brokerage. I've got some really good advice for you on that. Have you checked, Carlos Trentcamp, have you checked the Silent Yachts 83-deck catamaran? It's 100% solar. Yeah, I'm in constant contact with Silent Yachts, Michael Kohler, and I'm sure we'll be discussing the tri-deck catamaran in the future. Oh, Daniel Duarte Javot, who asks, I lost his questions again. But anyway, how do we register for the course? You just, it's live streaming. It's totally free. You don't need to register. I'm going to be doing the first one 6 o'clock Italian time, Friday evening, and I'm going to try to stick to that time every week, unless I get overwhelming demand for a different time. The live streaming system means that the video stays online. So if you miss it for some reason, you can always catch up and see other people's questions. So yeah, there's no registration. It's something that I'm happy to do. Because I do believe that the information I'll give out is of value, and I do believe that if somebody really wants to be a yacht broker, they should show commitment. I will be encouraging super chats during that live course to monetize the system, yeah, basically because the information I'm giving is of very real value. So that's what I'll be doing. Super Yacht Captain says sounds good. I presume he's talking about my offer for copious amounts of beers. Steve Podmore, do you know anyone who's attempted to carbon offset a super yacht? What a good question. I don't. Not to say it's never been done. It's a very good question, though. And I'm sorry, I'm not aware of anybody who has. Life Science, what about Silent Yachts? They've shown some incredible results with the eco-friendliest by using solar panels on a catamaran and were called a Tesla of the seas. I can't speak highly enough about Silent Yachts. Again, one of the things we'll talk about in the course is it's not always just about the yacht. It's also about the yacht builder and can I work with these people? And Silent Yachts have both. They have a remarkable product, and they are remarkably efficient and nice people to deal with as well. So I, unreservedly recommend Silent Yachts, and I love everything that they're doing. Second start to the right. Yeah, this is a good question. How many videos do you plan on having in your wonderful broker course? I have the template for the course, which will last, I think, about 6 weeks. However, after I've finished the course, I want to then go on to interviewing successful brokers, which will last another few weeks. After that, I also want to interview yacht designers and start to talk about all of the peripheral industry around yacht brokerage. And one of the things with talking to other yacht brokers, I want to talk not just to experienced yacht brokers who've been highly successful, but also to young yacht brokers who've just got into the industry, to talk about how they're finding it, what the challenges are, how they got into the industry in the first place. So that's my plan. And I'm pretty sure it will keep me going for 3 to 6 months. And I'm also pretty sure that during that 3 to 6 months, I'll think of other ideas for other live streaming. I don't want to do live streams just for the sake of doing them. I want to do them with a mission in mind, something to teach, something to give that people can benefit from. I also don't want to go down the route of motivational speaker or of I don't know, some sort of a guru in sales, because I'm not a guru in sales. I'm I may be a guru in yacht marketing on YouTube. I'm certainly pretty proud of what I've accomplished on that, but I'm no yacht broker guru. I can, however, pass on very, very useful information. And so while I can give useful information, I'll continue to live stream with it. Javier Costa Henere. David, any thoughts about New Dynamics GTT 160? No, to be perfectly honest. I know what the yacht is, but I've not been to their shipyard. As you know, I did a video of their GTT 115, which I thought was a great yacht. Really unusual idea, and I thoroughly enjoyed videoing that. The GTT 160, I just don't know enough about just yet to really comment on it. Gabriel Cyanos, is the greener movement have to do about the planet or more driven for financial reasons? Burn less fuel, perhaps tax or insurance benefits? Yeah, that's a good question. I have to be brutally honest and say that I don't believe people are as concerned about the planet as they should be. I think most people would agree with that. And I think that yacht owners who go down the green route do it because it's more socially acceptable. It's definitely more fuel efficient. And it probably makes them feel good to a point that they are respecting the environment to a greater degree than they were previously. And also it gives them access to some areas. I'm pretty sure the Galapagos Islands, for example, you can't go into unless you have zero emission modes. And that's going to be the case in the near future with the Norwegian fjords too, which is fantastic cruising ground. So, and also, of course, it's now becoming, there's now governmental legislation which it will soon be impossible to produce yachts that don't have reduced emissions and don't respect certain guidelines. So that's going to be a big change in the industry too. Some of these questions are great questions. It's going to take me so long to answer them, but I'll have a try, because Juan Temino Lems says, what's the most powerful yacht you've been into? I'm going to try make a very long story very short. Cam Boat Show. I was showing a yacht out at anchor, and I was taken by a Fabio Buzzi designed race boat to the yacht to meet the client. And basically I got there, I showed the yacht to the client. He left and I stayed on the yacht because it was the Grand Prix was on at the time. I can't remember which Grand Prix, and I wanted to watch it. However, I was busting to go to the loo, so I ran into the day head. Used the day. I knew the owner very well, by the way. I wouldn't normally do this, but the owner was actually a friend of mine, still is a friend of mine. Used the day head, ran back, didn't know that somebody had closed the sliding door between the saloon and the aft deck. I went smashing into the sliding door, almost broke my nose, fell backwards. I had blood gushing out my nose. The captain ran because he didn't want to get blood on the carpet. The only plaster that they'd got to give to me had got Shrek on it. It was like children's plasters. So I had Shrek plaster over my nose. I missed the end of the Grand Prix. And then as a joke, somebody said, have you ever seen one of these? And it was one of those toy pistols that was actually a cigarette lighter. So I said, oh, cool, I've never done that before. What I didn't know, it was a joke pistol, and it gave me electric shock. So now I've got black eyes coming out. I've got a Shrek plaster over my nose. I'm quivering from having had an electric shock. The Fabio Buzzi tender came back for me. We did 125 knots. I am not kidding. 125 knots in this thing, which scared the living crap out of me. And I got back to the Cam Boat Show with blood, black eyes, trembling like this. But yeah, 125 knots. That is a story I won't forget in a hurry. I'm going to whiz through these very quickly. Lizzie Watson, how closely do you work with the productions of the yachts? And if so, how much influence have you got? Do you mean the video production? If you mean the video production, very, very closely. I'm the producer and I'm extremely close to the production. If you mean the production in terms of the construction of the yachts, yeah, pretty closely. I mean, if it's a production yacht, there's only so much input that you can give. If it's a customized yacht, then as a broker, you kind of need to be led by your client, because sometimes the clients don't want you to get too involved. Sometimes they do. But with custom yachts, you do need to be fairly on the ball with what's going on. Second star to the right, would your yacht course apply if I'm interested in brokering catamarans? Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about breaking into the industry. It's all about how to get into the industry, and the sales principles that apply for catamarans also apply for super yachts, and I believe you'll find it very useful. Just had another super chat. David Dillon, thank you very much. How many buyers make changes to interiors of yachts they purchase, and what's the strangest? This is a good question. What's the strangest change you've seen made? Most buyers make changes to the interiors of the yachts, even if it's just changing the cushions and the curtains. Many buyers totally change the interiors of the yachts. My colleague Ed Dickinson recently sold a 50-meter CRN called Lady Ellen, and the owner has taken that straight into a shipyard to do lots of changes to the interiors. The strangest change you've ever seen, actually, yeah, I can tell you what that was, because years and years ago, we sold a Ferretti custom line Navetta 30-meter, when the 30-meter was still being made, to a Russian client. And where the master stateroom is on that yacht, traditionally it's on the main deck, which is the best position for it, because you're far away from the engine room, you get beautiful panoramic views, it's the quietest, most secluded prime real estate on the yacht. And he said, I don't want that, I want a sauna. And it blew us all away. So he made a massive sauna and Turkish bath into that whole forward area on the main deck. It was very, very expensive to do. And we were just at the time a bit bewildered, because we thought, why would somebody want to take a sauna on their yacht in the Med in the middle of the summer? I've had a bit of a change of thought of that now, and I do kind of see the appeal of having a sauna on a yacht now, but it was certainly a very big area and a very big modification that he asked to make. Thanks for that. It was a good question. Harry, yachts with room temperature superconductor solve environmental damage of operating yachts, bringing down to zero all energy usage. Is there anyone researching on that in the super yacht industry? Harry, I hope you watch many of my videos. I hope you have watched many, and you'll get to know I'm not a technical guy. I mean, I've got a reasonable understanding of the important things, technical things regarding yachts, but I don't know what a room temperature superconductor is. However, reading the article I've written from Wider of what they're coming up with, it doesn't sound totally different to this. So watch out for that video, because I am going to research the Wider technology, because they're saying that it will give them a totally electric yacht. So you may be interested. I'm hoping to release that video sometime in the next 2 weeks. James Hall, hello from Invercargill, New Zealand. 5:20 in the morning here. Just got up for a cuppa. Love you. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here at 5:20 in the morning. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning for a change. I woke up, I was full of beans. I walked downstairs and I thought, I'll sit down on the sofa before I start work. Closed my eyes. Next thing I knew, I slept for 3 hours and it was 8 o'clock. So that didn't go according to plan. Somebody with a very, very long name asks, what yacht has the most tenders? I would hazard a guess at the Cleven designed Explorer yacht, Ulysses, which now has another name that I can't remember. It had loads of tenders and toys on it. I couldn't tell you how many, but lots. Bartolome Garcia, How is Tim Hayward Design 280 Icon Yacht coming along? Would love to hear some updates on that beautiful yacht. It's coming along well. It's been sold, so it now has an owner. And from the moment it has an owner and a brokerage company representing the owner, it's more difficult for me to give you updates because there becomes confidentiality issues. Not all brokerage companies appreciate what I'm doing on YouTube. I think they all understand why I'm doing it and they all see the good effects, but certain yacht brokerage companies have made it very clear that they don't want to do anything to help me with my channel at all. And so when they're involved with the yacht, I tend to get elbowed out of the picture, and I just have to accept that as being the case. Actually, I've got to say, that's one of the great things about Bob Dennison and Dennison Yachting. They're a big competitor of Northrop and Johnson's. They're a big competitor on YouTube, but Bob is just such a gentleman. And I really like his way of going out of business, where he just says, look, we're all in this together. Let's all work together and cooperate rather than one elbowing the other out. So I'm quite happy to recommend that if you've not already checked out Dennison Yachting's channel, you should do and should subscribe to it. I have another super chat. Samu. Thank you, Samu. Hello from Zurich. Hello, Zurich. What's the best size of super yacht for a family with 2 kids to still feel home and comfy? Yeah, good question. Good question. You can go too big. And as a matter of fact, the very large yacht that I sold that I referred to earlier in the video, I still am in regular contact with the owners. And they once said to me, I don't know if this is still their opinion, but they once said to me they're not likely to ever go any bigger, but they may go smaller. And it's certainly not for financial reasons with that particular client, I can tell you. But it's more because a yacht can get to the size where you almost forget you're on a yacht. And in their case, they were saying that to go from the swimming pool on the top deck to go down to the sea took so long. By the time they'd sort of gone down all the stairways and corridors and what have you to the sea, they'd almost forgotten what they were doing there in the first place. For me, family with 2 kids, I think 100-foot yachts. I think a 100-foot yacht with a family with 2 kids is a lovely sized yacht because you still have enough crew for all of the service that you need. I was very, very, I don't want to use the American expression, but I will. I was blessed to be invited onto a yacht when my daughter was, I think she was maybe 2 years old. And it's myself, my wife at the time, and my daughter. And it was a 100-foot yacht. It was the Custom Line 94. It was fantastic because the crew were wonderful with my daughter. Most of the time we'd all eat together, but when I wanted to eat with my wife, they'd look after her. And it was just fantastic. It was a crew of 4 100-foot yachts, a family, 2 children. That's the perfect size in my opinion. Skiing fast. Oh my word, is that the time? Guys, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to have to knock this on the head, I'm afraid. But however, let's take a few more questions. How prevalent do I think shadow boat support yachts will become? And what do you think is the minimum size mother yacht to have that large accessory boat? I thought they'd be a lot more prevalent than they are, to be honest. I really did. When I first saw the first shadow boat, I thought it was a brilliant idea. Totally get why people are doing it. I think they'll become more prevalent as people start to go further afield with their yachts. And with regard to what size mother yacht you should have, there's no size limit on it, really. I mean, you could even run around, well, no, that's not true. 150 foot, 150 foot, because you'd need to be doing some serious size exploring all over the place. And I think as people go further afield, we'll see more and more shadow yachts appearing. Was Ulysses sold to Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg says no, and I have reliable information also that he is not the owner of Ulysses. Javier Costa Hinere. Have you ever been part in the buying process of a sailing yacht? To my shame, I have not. No, no, I'm not. Um, let's scroll down so I don't miss people out. Uh, second star to the right. How do you deal with an impatient client who wants everything at once and right now? You got to be blunt with them, blunt but respectful. And just the worst thing that you can do is make promises that you can't keep. It really is, and that goes for the broker and also for the shipyard. Again, I was talking to a colleague earlier today. He was saying that one of his clients wanted to close within 48 hours, and he just had to say it's not possible. You can't do it. Nobody likes to have to say no. I'm sure there's nicer ways to couch telling no to a client, but you do have to be respectful and clear with them. Oh, Lizzie Watson says, I saw your LinkedIn post about your apprentice position. Yes, thanks for mentioning that. I did mean to mention it in this live stream. Is there any more information about what you're particularly looking for? Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Yes, I posted on LinkedIn today to say that I'm looking for an apprentice. The reason for this is I'm getting so many sponsorship requests from yacht builders, I can't keep up with them. And the interesting thing about the sponsorship requests is that not all of the videos they want me to do are for my YouTube channel. And I don't like that idea, to be honest. I don't like producing videos that then I can't put on YouTube. I've done it in the past, but it's contrary to my whole business model. My whole business model is to have a very, very strong online presence as a yacht broker, so that when I promote a yacht on my YouTube channel, it gets incredible exposure. Already the exposure that I give to Yachts for Sale is incomparable with any other platform, to be perfectly honest. So I don't want to go sidetracked down the video production route. However, if I have a helper, if I have an apprentice who's also capable of talking to camera, that really gives me more time to do more videos. They can do the research for me on some of my vlogs. They can do research on for some of the sponsors, because a lot of my time is taken up with research. It's not taken up that much with filming, to be honest. It's more research. So I want the apprentice to be really good at research, really good at creative writing, and then with time, I'll involve them with the filming to camera as well. I can't say who they are, but there's one particular yacht builder that wants me to do a series of videos for them, which won't be on my YouTube channel. And I'd like this apprentice to be able to handle that particular project for me. I'd be overseeing it. But yeah, I think it's a real fun opportunity for somebody. So I'm quite excited about that. And thanks for mentioning it. I'm going to take one more, and then I'm afraid I'm going to have to sign off. I must just mention Cyril McGuinness says, wish I'd met you 40 years ago. You could have helped me escape from Cannock. My uncle and aunt live in Cannock, and my mum lives in Burntwood, so I'm not far away from there at all. David Dillon, I'm going to finish with you, and thanks so much for all the comments. My biggest fear was that nobody would turn up on this live stream, and it's already gone on 67 minutes, so I'm going to wind up with this one. How many yachts are out there that you know of that are named in a theme concept? I'm referring to the individual that built and named all of his yachts after James Bond movies. You're referring, of course, to Staluppi, who built loads of yachts, from Octopussy to Quantum of Solace to, well, every Bond film that you can think of. And off the top of my head, I'm afraid he's actually the only person I can think of who's done that. There are some great names out there. The one that I've seen recently was a Sunseeker called M-E, one word, me, B-O-W-T, Bout. And it made me laugh because where I come from in England, that's how you'd say my boat. They'd say me bout, as our friend Cyril, I think it was, from Cannock will well know. And so it just made me wonder if the owner is from my part of England, and he just thought it was funny to call my boat me bout. With that, I'm going to wind up. Thank you so much. I'm so chuffed that so many people got involved with that live streaming. The next live stream will be Friday evening, 6 o'clock Italian time. I'm going to put a post on my community channel, community tab on my channel, just to remind everybody of that. It will be more focused on brokerage. I'll probably spend the first 10 minutes just talking about useful things for breaking into the world of brokerage, and after that we'll field people's questions. Now that I know I've got a system that works, I'm particularly chuffed. I'm excited for Friday. I'm excited for the results of today, and I want to thank you all very much. I've now realized I don't know how to close. Oh yeah, that's how we do it. I have to click something on my iPhone. So many thanks for everybody, and I'm signing out. No, I'm not. Oh, thanks, Pinion. Here we go. This is how to sign out. Thank you very much again.